Let's have 16-5. Question in 16-5 is what is the consolidated income attributable to the parent? We know to solve for income attributable to parent is that we need to solve first the consolidated income. And once we have your consolidated income, all you have to do is to deduct the share of the NCI in the adjusted income of the subsidiary. So the first thing we need to do is to solve first for the consolidated income. And we already know that we need two things to solve for consolidated income. And what are these two things? The income of the parent from its own operations and the adjusted income of the subsidiary. But as mentioned before, it's possible in these kind of problems wherein the income of the parent from its own operations will also have adjustments. And when will that happen? If there are intercompany transactions wherein the transaction originated from the parent, or if the intercompany transaction is a downstream or upstream? Downstream. So if it's downstream, the transaction originated from the parent, so the income of the parent will be adjusted. The opposite of that, class, would be your upstream transactions wherein the transaction originated from the subsidiary, and it would be the income of the subsidiary that will be adjusted out of the intercompany transaction. Now, what do we have here? Are we given with the income of the parent from its own operations, class? Yes, already given. So next thing you have to check is, will there be adjustments to the income of the parent? What does the problem say? Puzon resold 60% of his inventory to outsiders, meaning Puzon was the purchaser. So the source of the inventory here, the source of the intercompany transaction was the subsidiary. So that means there will be no adjustments to the income of the parent. So we have what we need. We have the first thing we need to solve for consolidated income, and that is the income of the parent from its own operations, which is 200,000. And again, the second thing we need, class, is the adjusted income of the subsidiary. And we start with the income reported by the subsidiary. How much is the income reported by the subsidiary? 110,000. But again, as we have already mentioned earlier, there is an intercompany transaction originating from the subsidiary. So there will be a need to adjust the income of the subsidiary. And as we have established before, class, we have already explained the behind the scenes, the logic behind. But at this point, it's enough for you to remember what are the possible adjustments arising from intercompany sale of inventory. And we've mentioned there will only be two. You add the markup on the beginning, and then you deduct the markup on the ending. We use the term markup, class, to find a common ground with this topic, to find a common ground for this topic and your home office and branch accounting. But what term is used in your textbook in this topic, class? It is your unrealized profit. But again, basically, if you recall your home office and branch accounting, the markup on your branch inventories would really just be the unrealized profit also on the part of the home office. So for the purposes of our discussion, class, I'll be using the terms markup on beginning and markup on ending. Okay? And again, we add the markup on the beginning and then we deduct the markup on ending. Here, we only have one information, class, or we will only have one source of adjustment, and that is from the ending inventory. Okay? How much was the amount of merchandise transferred by the subsidiary to the parent, class? It was at the price of 75,000, and the cost was 50,000. So how much then was the total markup on the shipment or the transfer from the subsidiary to the parent? 25,000. Had this entire 75,000 been sold to outside parties, class, then there will be no more need for adjustment. But since this 75,000 was not entirely sold to outside parties, there will be a need for adjustment. And what will be the source of the adjustment? For the markup on those that have not yet been sold, for those that remain in the ending inventory. And how much of the 75,000 remains in the ending inventory class? It would be 40%. How did we get 40%? Because the problem told us that 60% has already been resold. So that means out of the 75,000, 40% remain unsold. And where will the unsold goods go? They will go to your ending inventory. So if you are asked in this problem, how much of the ending inventory of the parent came from the subsidiary, our answer would be 40% of 75. And help me here. How much is 40% of 75,000? 30,000. Okay? Is the adjustment the 30,000? No. The 30,000 is the ending inventory. What is the adjustment? The markup on this 30,000. How do you get the markup on the 30,000? You multiply the 30,000 with the markup rate. And how do you solve for the markup rate, class? How do you solve for the markup rate, class? The markup divided by the cost or the bill price. How much was the markup we've computed earlier? How much was the markup? Markup. The difference between the cost and the price. 25,000. That's the total markup. So solve now for the markup rate. 25,000 divided by, you can choose either the cost or the selling price as a denominator, class. It's better for us to use the cost so that the percentage will not have decimal places, class. Let's use the 50,000. So 25,000 divided by 50,000 will give you a markup rate of 0.5 or 50%. But be careful, that 50% is based on cost. Okay, that 50% is based on cost. So again, why did we try to solve for the 50%? Because we want to know how much is the markup on the remaining inventory of 30,000. So using the 50%, solve for the markup on the 30,000. What do? Do you multiply the 30,000 by the 50%? No, because the 50% is based on cost. So what must you do first? You divide the 30,000 by 150%. And how much is 30,000 divided by 150%? That will give you 20,000. Is the 20,000 the markup, class? No, the 20,000 is the cost. So how much then is the markup? How much is the markup? How much? 10,000. Where do you get 10,000? 30 minus 20. And it is this 10,000 that we need to adjust the income of the subsidiary. Now, what do we do with the 10,000? Do we add or do we deduct the 10,000? Deduct, because this is the markup on your ending. So you deduct the 10,000 from what? 110. 110,000 minus 10,000 will give you the adjusted income of the subsidiary in the amount of 100,000. And this is now the amount that we will add to the income of the parent from its own operations. Again, how much was the income of the parent from its own operations? 200,000. And how much was the adjusted income of the subsidiary? 100,000. If you add the two, how much will you get? And the 300,000 now will be our consolidated income. And that is letter C in the choices, class. Is that already the answer? No, because again, what are we looking for? We are not just looking for the consolidated income. We are looking for the consolidated income attributable to the parent. So from the consolidated income, how do you arrive at the consolidated income attributable to the parent? Deduct what? Deduct the share of the NCI in the income of the subsidiary. So how much is the NCI? How much is the non-controlling interest? How much? 25%. How do we know that the NCI is 25%? It's because the controlling interest is 75. The residual will represent your NCI. So we now have the non-controlling interest. What do we do with the 25%? Multiply it with what? With, how do we call the 100,000? The adjusted income of the subsidiary. Multiply the 25% with the adjusted income of the subsidiary in the amount of 100,000. How much will that give you? 25,000. You deduct that from the 300,000, And that will give you how much? 275,000. And that's how you get the answer. Now, I am aware, class, that you have copies of the solutions manual. Okay? But and if you can observe, the solution we have discussed now is different from what was presented in the solution manual. How did the solution manual arrive at the adjustment, class? But before that, how did we solve for our adjustment of 10,000? We solved for the 10,000 by getting the markup on the 30,000. And that's what we have been discussing even in the past meeting, class. Okay? But how was it presented in the solutions manual? You were using the 25,000 total markup and you multiplied that with the 40%. Okay? But if you have not answered a lot of problems, class, you'd get confused. Where did this 40% come from? Okay? But again, our rule is to get the ending inventory and get the markup. So that's why I don't want you to blindly rely on the solutions manual, class. Okay? In some cases, it will just lead you to confusion. But again, to explain the solution given by the author, class, the 25,000 there is the total markup. And as we have explained before, the reason there's a need for adjustment here, it's because there are portions of the income reported by the seller that is not yet considered realized in the eyes of the consolidated entity. And the portion that will not be considered as realized would be the portion that has not yet been sold. And in this problem, what portion was not yet sold? It is this 40%. So in other words, the total 25,000 markup in the transfer between the subsidiary and the parent class would have been realized all in all had the entire 75,000 inventory were sold to outside parties. But how much were sold only in this period? Only 60%. How much was not sold? 40%. So what does that mean? 40% of the total markup has not yet been earned or has not yet been realized. So that's why as an alternative solution, class, the markup on ending can be computed by 25,000 times 40%. But again, I do not want you to use that formula or solution, class. I want you to stick what we have discussed, which is get the ending inventory and get the markup on that ending inventory. Is that clear, class? Okay. And let's proceed with the next problem. In problem 16-6, the question asks for two things: the consolidated comprehensive income in 2016 and 2017. Okay, let's start with 2016. By the way, how is this different from the previous problem, class? In the previous problem, what was being asked? Income attributable to the parent. Here, it is only asking for the consolidated income. So which one can be answered faster, class? This one or the previous problem? This one. Okay, we will be omitting or skipping one step. But again, what are the two things you need to solve for consolidated income? Income of the parent from its own operations and the adjusted income of the subsidiary. Now, do we have the income of the parent from its own operations? Yes, which is, for 2016, it was 500,000. But again, as we have established before, in this chapter, it's now possible for the income of the parent to have adjustments. And when will that happen? If there are downstream transactions. Based in the given class, do we have any downstream transaction? Yes, the problem states intercompany sales by Pa to San. So the transaction originated from the parent. So this is a downstream transaction. Now, what were the possible adjustments, class, if there are intercompany sale of inventories? Again, there are only two. What are these two possible adjustments to the income? Markup on beginning and markup on ending. Now, for 2016, we will not have any markup on the beginning because the business combination happened only in 2016. So what we have in 2016 will only be the markup on ending. And the problem already give us, class, the amount of inventory at the end of 2016. Do you see that in the problem, class? How much is in our ending inventory that came from our intercompany transaction, class? How much is in the table? 20,000. Inventory at bill prices. So in problem 16-5, we still had to compute for the amount of ending inventory. Here, the amount of ending inventory is already given, which is 20,000. What do we do with the 20,000? Get the markup. And how do you solve for the markup? We first need the markup rate. Now, how much then is the markup rate here? What information are you going to use? The sales price and the cost. How much was the sales price of the intercompany transaction? 100,000. And how much was the cost of the intercompany transaction? 60. So that means the total markup was how much? 40,000. So if the markup was 40,000, how much was the markup rate? 40%. How did we get 40%? 40,000 total markup divided by the selling price of 100,000. So if you have the 40% na, what do you do with the 40%? Multiply it with the ending inventory. Again, what are we trying to do? We're just trying to get the markup on your ending inventory. And what do you need in getting for the markup on your ending inventory class? Of course, the ending inventory and the markup rate. Do we have the ending inventory? Yes. How much? 20%. Do we have the markup rate? Yes. How much? 40%. So we now have the two things we need. So you can now compute for the markup on the ending inventory. How much is 20,000 times 40%? 8,000. And that would be the markup on our ending inventory. This will now serve as our adjustment to the income of the parent. Will this be added or deducted, class? Deducted. Markup on ending will be deducted. So you deduct the 8,000. And here we will not have any adjustment to the income of the subsidiary. So how much is the adjusted income of the parent, class? 492. Okay, but this is not yet the answer. We already have the adjusted income of the parent from its own operations. What else do we lack? We need to add what? The adjusted income of the subsidiary. But here, no adjustment for the income of the subsidiary. So we will just have how much? 200,000. So 492,000 plus 200,000 will give you how much? 692,000. And that's already in the choices class, and that's the only letter, that's the only 692,000 in the choices. So the answer in this problem must be letter B. But let's try to solve for 2017. Again, what are we trying to solve? Consolidated income. What are the two things we need? Because I hope you'd get bored on hearing the same things, class ba? What are the two things we need to solve for consolidated income? Again, income of the parent from its own operations and the adjusted income of the subsidiary. Here, we start with the income of the parent from its own operations in the amount of 550,000. Okay? And as further proof, class, that the adjustments here are really just caused by timing of the sale to outside parties, class. The adjustment in 2016, the positive adjustment in 2016 will be a negative. The negative adjustment in 2016 will be a positive adjustment in 2017. It was deducted in 2016 because it was not yet sold to outside parties. It will be added in 2017 because it has now been sold in this period, following first in, first out. Okay? So, again, there are only two adjustments as a result of an intercompany sale of inventory. Add markup on beginning and deduct markup on ending. The markup on ending in 2016 will be the markup on beginning in 2017. How much was the markup on ending in 2016, which will be the markup on beginning in 2017? It was 8,000. So for 2017, it will now be added to your 550. But there will be another adjustment, and that is the markup on ending. We already have the ending inventory at 30,000. But be careful, class. The markup rate is no longer 40%. You will be using the applicable markup rate, which is based on the intercompany transaction in 2017. How much was the intercompany sale in 2017? 120,000. How much was the intercompany cost of sale? 60,000. Okay, so the total markup is also 60,000. Divided by 120,000, 60,000 divided by 120, the markup rate is 50,000. Do we now have everything we need to solve for the markup on ending? Yes, ending inventory of 30 multiplied by 50%. So 30,000 times 50% will give you 50. And again, this is the markup on ending. This will be a negative adjustment. So in computing for the adjusted income of the parent from its own operations, you start with 550, you deduct, you add the 8,000 and then you deduct 15,000. How much will that give you? 543,000. And that will be the adjusted income of the parent from its own operations. And then what else do? You add the income of the adjusted income of the subsidiary. But since there will be no adjustments to the income of the subsidiary, our answer here would simply be, the amount that we will add here would simply be 225,000. So 543,000 plus 225,000 will give you 768,000. Okay, now let's move further, class. Let's solve for the income attributable to the parent. Starting with 2016. Again, if you already have the consolidated income, how do you arrive at the income attributable to the parent? All you have to do is to deduct the share of the NCI in the income of the subsidiary. Adjusted income of the subsidiary. But again, no adjustments in the income of the subsidiary. How much was the income of the subsidiary in 2016? 200. How much is the non-controlling interest? 20%. So how much then is the share of the NCI in the 200,000 income of the subsidiary? 40,000. So you deduct the 40,000 from how much was the consolidated income in 2016? 692. So 692 minus 40,000 will give you how much? 652,000. Proceed to 2017. How much was the consolidated income in 2017? How much was the consolidated income in 2017? 768. What do we have to do? Deduct the share of the NCI, the adjusted income of the subsidiary. How much is the NCI again? 20%. How much is the adjusted income of the subsidiary? 225. How much is 25% of, how much is 20% of 225? 45,000. What do we do with the 45,000? Deduct it from 768. How much is 768 minus 45,000? 723. And if you'll notice, class, the amounts there are found in the choices, which is letter A in the choices. So what do we have to change in the question so that the answer will be letter A? How much is the consolidated income attributable to the parent? Let's proceed to 16-7. Question here is just consolidated income for 2017. And again, what are the two things you need to solve for consolidated income? Income of the parent from its own operations plus adjusted income of the subsidiary. Do we have the income of the parent from its own operations? Yes, 400,000. Because we're also given with the information concerning the dividends declared by the subsidiary. Okay? The dividends declared by the subsidiary will be received by the parent. Do you follow, class? Now, do we have to deduct anything from the 400,000 as a result of the dividends paid by the subsidiary, class? No, because the 400,000 there already excludes the income, the dividend income from the subsidiary, because again, it is already referred as the income from its own operations. Okay? We will now just have to check whether there are downstream transactions. If none, we will proceed with the income of the subsidiary. What do we have in this problem? Merchandise from intercompany sales in PIP, who is the parent. So since the inventories are with the parent, that means the transaction originated from the subsidiary. So do we have a downstream or upstream transaction? Upstream. So will there be an adjustment to the income of the parent or none? None. Okay, so no adjustment. So we will proceed with the 400,000. If we already have the 400,000, what else do we have? What else do we need? The adjusted income of the subsidiary. And we begin with the income reported by the subsidiary. How much is the income reported by the subsidiary? 250. And again, because if there is excess to amortize, that would be relevant. But here, the focus is still on your intercompany sale of inventories. And from intercompany sale of inventories, what are the two possible adjustments, class? Markup on beginning and markup on ending. Here, the problem tells us that as of the beginning of 2017, there is a beginning inventory that came from the subsidiary in the amount of 40,000. What we need is not the 40,000. What we need is the markup on the 40,000. So I want us first to compute for the markup on the 40,000. What rates are relevant here, class? The one under the parent or the one under the subsidiary? The one under the subsidiary. Okay? So, what rate will be used here to get the markup on the 40,000? The 40% or the 30%? 40%. Because if it is in your beginning inventory for 2017 class, that must have been acquired in 2016. So the relevant markup rate here is 40%. So what do? Multiply 40% with 40,000. That will give you 16,000. What do we do with the 16,000? Plus or minus? Plus. Again, plus markup on beginning, minus markup on ending. Class, that's all you have to remember, class. Plus markup on beginning, minus markup on ending. And again, because if you have difficulty in getting the markup amount, class ba, again, that is not the fault of the subject. Okay? That is not even the fault of your home office and branch accounting class. As far back as your accounting for inventories class in your intermediate accounting, you're already familiar, you were already introduced to gross profit valuation class. And even before entering college class, this is just a matter of percentages class. What grade were you taught with percentages class? Grade 4 or grade 3? So again, very important ang inyong understanding on percentages. But again, this is not the subject to learn percentages class. You should have learned this in grade school. Okay? So you add the 16,000. What else? Add the markup on beginning and deduct the markup on ending. How much was the ending? Given already, 70,000. How much is the markup? Do we use the 40%? Not anymore. We will use the 30%. You multiply the 30% with 70,000 and you would get 21,000. What do we do with the 21,000? Add or deduct? Deduct. So we have everything we need to get the adjusted income of the subsidiary. 250 plus 16 minus 21 will give you 245,000. You add that with the 400 income of the parent from its own operations, your consolidated income would be 645. But again, let's move further. Solve for the income attributable to the parent. If you already have the consolidated income, what's the only thing you need to do to arrive at the income attributable to the parent? Deduct or remove the share of the NCI in the adjusted income of the subsidiary. How much is the adjusted income of the subsidiary? 245,000. How much is the NCI in this problem? 30%. Because I hope nobody's thinking that we are saying 30% because of the markup rate in 2017. The 30% that we are saying now is the residual of the 100 after the consolidated in the controlling interest of 70 class. I hope that is clear to you. So 245 times 30% will give you how much? 73,500. Deduct that from our consolidated income. How much was the consolidated income? 645. 645 minus 73,500. How much will that give you? 571,500. And again, that is in the choices class. So, what do we have to change in the question so that your answer would be letter D? How much is the consolidated comprehensive income attributable to the parent? Let's solve one more problem here. 16-8. For 2017, what is the consolidated income attributable to parent for 2017? And again, class, this is really what I want you to do, class, when you solve the problem. Go to the question, and once you've read the question, recall, regardless of the given, recall what you need to arrive at the question, class. What's the question here? Consolidated income attributable to the parent. Okay? What do you need before you can arrive at the income attributable to the parent? You need the consolidated income. And what do you need to arrive at the consolidated income? What are the two things you need? Income of the parent from its own operations and the adjusted income of the subsidiary. Okay? I hope you can hear my voice asking those questions every time you read the question in the problem, class. What are the two things? And almost always, it's just two things, class. So it's very frustrating you cannot remember these two things lang. What are the two things you need to solve for consolidated income? Income of the parent from its own operations and the adjusted income of the subsidiary. Are we given with the income of the parent? It's 500,000. Okay, and then what is the problem? What? This is when you will have to go over the problem to filter out useless information from relevant information. During 2016, Soto sold inventory to Popo. So what kind of transaction, intercompany transaction do we have? Downstream. So whose income will be, Soto sold to. This is upstream. So whose income will be adjusted? Whose income will be adjusted? Subsidiary. Then on December 31, 2016, Soto had unrealized profits of 10,000. Okay. By December 31, 2017, all of the inventory left on Popo's books had been sold to outside parties. During 2017, Popo sold inventory to Soto. So we have a different transaction in 2017. What kind of transaction, class? Downstream. So whose income will be adjusted? Parent. Okay. Okay. By the way, why is the information in 2016 relevant here, class? Because the markup on ending in 2016 will serve as the markup on beginning in 2017. So even though there is no upstream transaction in 2017, there will still be an adjustment to the income of the subsidiary. Okay? And I do not have to explain why there will be an adjustment to the income of the parent, because we have a downstream transaction in 2017. So, how is this problem different from the previous problems we have answered? For the first time, both the income of the parent and the subsidiary will have adjustments. But will it change anything, class? No. The procedure will be the same. Add markup on beginning, deduct markup on ending. If there's no markup on beginning, there's nothing to add. If there's no markup on ending, there's nothing to deduct. Okay, let's start with the parent. How much is the income of the parent from its own operations? 500,000. Since we are in the parent, we will look for downstream transaction. The downstream transaction happened in 2017. Okay, and what happened in 2017? Popo sold inventory to Soto and had 15,000 of unrealized profits left on its books at the end of 2017. Okay, so what kind of adjustment here? Do we have markup on beginning? No, we only have markup on ending. And class, you are already given with the amount of markup. So the process is significantly shortened, class. We already know that the markup is 15,000, the amount of unrealized profits at the end of 2017. So since this is markup on ending, what do we do with the 15,000? Plus or minus? Deduct it from what? 500,000. So 500,000 minus 15,000 will give you 485. And that is the adjusted income of the parent from its own operations. Next, what's the second thing we need to solve for consolidated income? Adjusted income of the subsidiary. How much is the income of the subsidiary? 360. Do we have possible adjustments to the income of the subsidiary? Yes, because we have what? What kind of transaction we have? Upstream transaction in 2016. But again, it is still relevant in 2017. How much was the markup on the inventory in 2016? Already given, class. Do you follow? 10,000. Okay, this would have been deducted in 2016, but in 2017, what would be the adjustment here? So since this will now be a markup on beginning, this will now be a positive adjustment. What do we do with the 10,000? Add it. Add it to what? The income of the subsidiary of 360. So 360 plus 10 will give you how much? And that 370 is the adjusted income of the subsidiary. How much was the adjusted income of the parent, class? 485. How much is the adjusted income of the subsidiary? 370. 485 plus 370 will give you how much? 855, which is letter D in the choices. But again, this is not yet the answer because what is being asked? Consolidated income attributable to parent. So what's the next step? Deduct the share of NCI in the adjusted income of the subsidiary. How much is the NCI? 5%. Hopefully everybody is able to find the 5%. To what do we multiply the 5%? Multiply it with, not the 360, class. Multiply it with the adjusted income of the subsidiary. So if you did not correctly compute for the adjusted income, then the amount of the NCI share will also be wrong. So 5% times 370 will give you how much? 18,500. Deduct that from the consolidated income of 855. The income attributable to the parent will be how much? 836,500, which is letter